right, what's going on, everyone? So we got to go back over Turbo. As you can see, we are doing pretty good. Right now, we're at 0.0577. So 0.00577, we got rejected all the way up here at 63.90. And actually, really 64, let's just say 64, but really, we were pumping, right? So the last video I made, we were around this area. We were doing so good, and yeah, we just went up and we got rejected all the way up here at the 6400 level. So now we're working our way back up there. We kind of dropped to this little minor support level, and you can see right here that there was support here and here, and you can see it's the same thing for the resistance there and the support there. So that is definitely a minor support level. So we definitely did good with stopping there before we, continued to go down. But now what we got to do, we have another level that we have to try to break. We have to break that 6400 level here for Turbo. So the support that we stopped at, we actually used multiple times as resistance. So that was actually a good level. And we had it as support over there and support there and there. So we are inside of a good space right now inside of Turbo. Now, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Look at this, though. We're at 0.006. So this is actually a very good level where we got rejected, because right now, whenever you look closer here towards the MACD, we're actually curving upwards right here. We're oversold on that MACD. That's actually why you're seeing all of this purchasing coming. So the reason why this is such a nice thing right now, like just take a look at the MACD, right? It shows that the MACD is oversold, and you can see how it's curving upward, right? You can also see on the RSI, the RSI is now curving upwards. So this means more buying pressure. And the reason why this is so surprising, because if you actually look at here where we went and had support, like we already had a lot of buying pressure. So it's not even taking into account all this purchasing. Even though we had all this buying pressure right here, it's still not overbought. Look at that. If it was overbought, it would look something more like this, or it would look something more like this. But it's not overbought. It's still a lot more to go, which means that we have the potential to continue to rise here back to there and try to retest that level. Obviously, we'll probably try to pull back a little bit, maybe some sideways trading movement before we try to get back up above that again. But we have the possibility here to really rise high with Turbo. So this is a pretty good thing. This is a pretty good thing. All right. Now, looking at the price, up 4.6% in the last 24 hours, still up 16.8% in the last 7 days, still 108% in the last 14 days, still 235.2% in the last 30 days, 705% in the last year. That's actually pretty good. And when you look at Bitcoin and everything else is down in the last 24 hours and in the last 7 days, especially the top 10, which are the ones that matter the most. Everything is down right now, and Turbo is up. So Turbo is really like keeping away from the stigma of being tied to Bitcoin right now. Turbo is not tied to Bitcoin like everything else is. It's kind of on its own wave right now. And every single cycle, there's always that one coin that just, strays away from the pack and doesn't, necessarily pump with the pack. Well, it pumps with the pack when the pack's pumping. But when the pack's dumping, is not dumping. Like, the Turbo community is so strong right now. So, round of applause for that. Now, the 24-hour trading volume is at $286 million, and the market cap is at $385 million. So part of the reason why Turbo continues to rise and is staying at a nice price is because the trading volume is so much closer to the market cap than anything else, which is funny because I think it's a mixture of all these exchanges and people doing like people doing futures on these exchanges, trading Turbo futures, just trading Turbo in general, just literally buying, selling, buying, selling. There's so many transactions going on with Turbo. And that's both on the Ethereum side of things and as well on the Solana side of things. Like, now Solana doesn't have as much, holders, and it definitely does not have as much liquidity when it comes to Turbo, but we have way more holders here on the Ethereum side of things, right? And you see there's a lot of different exchanges with a lot of money in Turbo, and then you already know what's happening with that. People are trading all of that Turbo. They're trading it, so there's a lot more volume going on the volume dropped all the way down to 216 million, and then eventually up to 160,000, 130 or 160 million, 133 million when it was at 586 million market cap. Then yeah, it was down. But then boom, the volume goes up just a little bit, and then boom, back up to 795 million in market cap. So then boom, the volume drops to 84 million, and then the price starts to drop. The volume continues to go down lower and lower. Price goes lower, 66 million volume. And then, as the volume dropped, the price dropped with it. So we need to keep over a $200 million trading volume. If the trading volume stays high, the price stays high. Look at that. $17 million trading volume and was only $101 million market cap. So we will probably end up dropping all the way down to that market cap again if the trading volume drops. Now look at the price. So when you see the price is at 0.0015 when the market cap is low all the way down here. Like look, the volume is now at 17.3 million and the price is at 0.00146, right? And that means that the market cap around that price is also like 100 something million. So as the volume drops, we're going to see the price drop. We cannot leave 286 million in volume. We need to increase the volume. And one of the things that keeps the volume high with Turbo is the community. The community is what keeps the volume high. That's exactly why the price stayed as high as it was. Like it just kept going. It's like a powerhouse, right? It's like a power horse. It just keeps going and going and going. As long as the volume stays high, price stays high, right? We need the volume to increase, and we need high volume for the pump to continue to go. Because if it doesn't, we're gonna lose some gains. So let's talk about the prices where we can end up dropping if our volume inevitably drops, right? It's gonna drop eventually. But let's talk about where we could go if the volume drops, right? So first of all, we already know 0.0045. Okay, cool. 0.0045. We know that support. We seen it here, and some other areas back here as well, right? That was definitely a significant area there. Okay, so here too. So look, we had that level, right? 0.0045. The next level for Turbo to reach is going. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit because we have some support here, as you can see. When we broke out, we kind of pulled back and we dropped here at 0.0040. Well, 408041, somewhere around there. So let's just back test this and see if we had support there previously, or at least resistance. So we had maybe a little bit, but not much. So let's go ahead and mark this on our charts and look back here. So yes, we had some resistance here when we went back. We actually had a good amount of resistance here. All right, had some support, and then you go further back, a little bit of resistance back here. So let's go ahead and take this and zoom into here. So yes, we had a little bit around that area as well. And then if you also go over here, you can see we broke it, but we still hit that support. We hit the support here, but then we ended up breaking it. And then we came back above it, and then we ended up going down all over again. So that is another thing that we did again. And then we kind of broke past it, and then we used it as support to stay above. And then we used that as support here, but then we broke it. So this isn't a strong support line, but you can see we trade around this line, and we typically stay around or on it when we are there. So it is pretty significant. So with that being said, if Turbo was to drop and break that Fibonacci, then pretty much we're going to be going below 0.0045, going down towards 0.004050. So 0.004050 is a level. Boom, we got that level. Now, let's find the next turbo level. So the next turbo level, if we were to break this as well, we got to continue to look at the different levels. And like there's a lot of different levels because as you can see, like it's just time and time again, like this turbo kept breaking out like left and right. So it's kind of hard to track the supports when every single time you look at it, it's breaking out, right? So this is another level right here, around 29, let's just say 30, 0.03. So we got 0.03 here, and this is actually a major one because you can see it actually hit it every single time, and then it had a major bounce after that. So this is probably one of the more important levels here. and I'll tell you exactly why. So, the reasons why this is such an important level is because if we break this support, right? If we break the support where we're at right now, pretty much, or where we're close to, where we bounced off at 551.50, let's just say at 5100, right? We go ahead and we go down and we break 5100, and then we try to get back up, from 0.0045, get rejected at 5100 again, go back down to 004, try to break out, go back down to 003. That means the next major pump should be at 003 if we can't pass this, right? If we're bullish, this is a hypothetical. If we cannot pass this resistance and we're not bullish, hypothetically speaking, we reject here, then what we will end up seeing is a major pump probably coming back at 0.003. So we pull back to 0.003, and then we have a big pump after that. That is what the technical analysis is saying. Now, let's say we are bullish, right? Well, then obviously we'll have to get past this level here at about 0.0064, right? 0.0064. Once we get past that level right there, then we can work our way up to the next resistance. And obviously we have another resistance level when we look up here. We have about 80, but then we have to look at our little minor resistance levels as well, because those were once our supports. So those then inevitably become our resistance. And you can actually see this was used as support and resistance so many different times. Look at it right there. Resistance, boom. July 2024. Back here, resistance, boom. See where I'm going with this? Now you look over here as well. Support, boom. Support, boom. Support, boom. Support, boom. And then we break it. So that is a very significant level. Very, very, very significant. I know I said minor, but I actually think it might be significant. So this is going to be one of those areas. If we get past this level at 0.064, then this is going to be that major level. If we can get past 7.0 also, we'll see us getting up to 0.008. And then that's when we'll see the next pullback. So if we have a pump, pretty much, we're getting here, maybe seeing heavy resistance and trying to get back above it. And then we get here and we definitely have to pull back at 0.008. So either we pull back now and we go back down to 0.003, or we pump all the way up to 0.007, possibly get past that to 0.008, and then have the big pullback, and then we can work our way up from there. But either way, all the way down here at 0.003, major support level, major support. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think Turbo is going to continue to be bullish like this, or do you think that it's about to come to an end? Because we need to keep the volume. If the volume stays up and the volume increases, we are going to increase in price. There's always a huge correlation with volume and with price, especially when you look over here and you can notice physically on here that the volume difference. Like, look at the change in the volume here. Like, I just kind of want to show you guys. This volume is almost in like a trend line right now, and it's been going down. The trend has been going down for the turbo volume. So if this is the truth, then what I was mentioning before might be happening currently. So yeah, if this is the case, then you're going to end up seeing the candlesticks getting smaller, smaller, and smaller. And then if this is the case, then the prediction would be for the next breakout for turbo to be around March 20th. So let's say we pull back from there for right now and we get closer to 003 or maybe even 004 around March 20th. Hypothetically speaking, if we're following that trend line that I just now had, then eventually around March 20th, maybe even lower than that. But I'm just kind of going by what this trend line is saying for the volume. So if we follow this for the volume around March 20th, we might see, the price tanking, and then possibly a shoot upwards around there, possibly. But like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice, just kind of going off previous movements. And you also got to think about it. The volume could stay low for a long time. Like, it already did that before. Like, yeah, there was a trend of the volume dropping. As you can see here, there's a trend. But then after it finally hit the end of that trend, it just stayed low. And then the price just kept selling off because the volume stayed low. So remember, it might not follow that trend, right? So we gotta pay attention to the prices here, because if all else fails, we are gonna be feeling pretty bad. All the way down to 0.003. But I do like the way the MACD looks on the 4 hour a little bit, because it looks like it's curving upwards, but it can reverse at any time because that's a very low amount of volume for what Turbo is used to doing. So we need to increase volume. Volume, volume, volume. That's, if you don't get anything else from this video, volume. That's what you need to get. All right. But yeah, this is all I got for you all today. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, and that is financial advice. Hit the like button and subscribe to all that good stuff. And as always, be back with another video.